we want to try a little thought exercise with you. What word or phrase comes to your mind when you think of candidate engagement? Take a few seconds and think about it. When we asked hundreds of TA professionals at SourceCon, a TA industry event formerly ran by our head of marketing, Shannon Pritchett, these were the most common answers we got: personalized, human, and building relationships. Now more than ever, TA professionals recognize the importance of making real connections and humanizing the engagement process with talent. Unfortunately, it's not the easiest process. It's much easier to send the same message to hundreds of candidates. It's much easier to avoid searching for information on who you're messaging. And it's much easier to avoid trying new things. Yet, personalization has been linked to increases in critical email metrics and building relationships with talent. Here's how to get started. When you click on a candidate's, let's say, LinkedIn profile, think, what can I learn about this person? Here are some basics to consider. If they went to school, where did they go? Did they link any websites or portfolios? Do they have any connections within your company? Have they posted about any topics in particular? Any reference to hobbies or extracurricular activities? Or do they have a strong network that could maybe provide a recommendation for the role? Upon considering all of this information and more, you might find things you have in common with them. Maybe you went to the same school or lived in the same area for some time. Maybe you even root for the same sports team. If you do, use that in your messaging to start building a connection. Let's say you both attended Ohio State University. Something like, love reaching out to a former Buckeye in your subject line or email body might increase your chance of a response. Even if you don't find something in common, you'll probably find some information that can be used to personalize. Did a software engineer you're engaging with work on a personal project, post it on their GitHub profile? Mention it and relay how it would translate to their role at your organization. Does your candidate have a photography website? Pick your favorite photo of theirs and ask them about it. In fact, we had one of our Hire Easy recruiters successfully hire a growth enablement manager by doing just that. Beyond a candidate's profile, there are other places you can look for information. You may be able to locate public social media profiles. If they're designers or writers, they may even have an online portfolio. You might even find professionals or experts who love writing blogs about their insights. In fact, a simple Google search with a person's name might pull up other information about them. However, there's something we can't stress enough. Don't be invasive. Imagine getting a message from a complete stranger. How would you feel about seeing targeted information about yourself? There's a fine line between finding a point of connection and being invasive. Our general guidelines for making sure you're not being invasive: refrain from commenting on a person's family or beliefs, especially in an inflammatory manner, and don't use information that's not publicly available. Again, think through how you would feel seeing information about yourself. If something makes you uncomfortable, don't do the same to talent. One way to ensure your messaging isn't coming off as invasive is to stray away from sounding robotic. You're talking to humans, so sounding like a human would definitely be helpful. Are you a humorous person? Use that. It can make a huge difference. Let's say you both lived in Wisconsin and it's currently wintertime. There's a big difference between saying, I see that you live in Madison, Wisconsin. I used to live there. It must be really cold there right now. Versus, as a former Wisconsinite, I can only imagine how much shoveling you've had to do this year. My fingers are getting cold just thinking about it. In fact, that's part of the reason I chose this company with its headquarters in sunny California. One is a declaration of your observation. The other invokes a bit of humor and makes it much more conversational and relatable. Humor isn't the only personality trait you can use. Other personality traits to evoke in emails include being informative, energetic, straightforward, and more. Whatever your personality strength, use it. This one is critical to your success as a professional and as a person. When you're writing to someone's inbox, it can be easy to forget there's a person reading all those emails. Always put yourself in another person's shoes and think, how would a person read your email? You may find yourself feeling frustrated during the outreach process, and that's completely understandable. In the same sense, you may not be aware of what a candidate might be going through personally or professionally. Therefore, remaining respectful and empathetic can help you forge stronger relationships that extend beyond just connecting your job to a person. It might seem like personalizing emails means a data free-for-all where nothing is tracked. It's actually quite the opposite. You want to know how your personalization choices are impacting your email performance. A good way to start is to check the average open rate and reply rate of non-personalized emails versus your personalized ones. With personalization, you should see a significant uptick in your performance. But, like any approach, strategy is critical. For instance, you might send out 2 personalized emails, each with 2 different tones, one humorous, one straightforward. Knowing that you're comparing the 2 emails going out, you can measure how open rates and response rates compare with each particular audience. In the end, getting personal doesn't have to be a bad thing, as long as you remain strategic and empathetic throughout. Now, we hope you don't take this next part too personal either, but it's quiz time. Let's see how much you learned.